Hi, I'm Michelle Blue. I started my first business just 2 weeks after graduating college.
Who are you? That's a question of life.
There is a dream that we all have within us. I believe if that dream is given to you, then it's up to you to bring it forth into the world. As a coach and host, I support women like you to create the life and business of your dreams.
Not being too committed to whatever destination you've set in your head, but being committed to the journey.
Through conversations with influential entrepreneurs and thought leaders, we dive into the mindset, spiritual, and success principles needed to step into your power. I'm with you every step of the way. And just know that the beauty lies within the journey. You're watching The Journey with Blue. Hi, I'm Michelle Blue, and welcome to The Journey with Blue, where I'm supporting you every step of the way to create the life and business of your dreams. In my conversation with Bless, we address the topics of self-healing and facing your trauma so that you can expand and receive all that's available to you. Bless Roxwell has transformed countless lives through her company, Life Beam Energetics, where she provides meditative experiences, coaching, and Reiki. So Bless, I am so excited. We're already giggling. I'm so excited for this conversation, right? Because, when I was thinking okay, who do I want to talk to? I think a lot of people show up as practitioners in this work, right? And put titles onto it. But I know for certain that you live this, right? That this is your story, that you've done the work, that you have done the healing and unlearning that it takes to really step into your purpose.
Yes.
And I know that's not easy, but I think it's a challenge that all of us have to take. Why are we not living the life that's available to us?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Why are we walking through life as a lesser version of ourselves when there's abundance, there's possibilities available to us?
One answer would be society. As we grow up, we live and exist in a society that likes us to conform. It frowns on individualism. It frowns on you and owning your unique power. And that's part of why I do the work I do with the expansion coaching, because it does call all those pieces back and allows you to live more fully. But it's a challenge.
Right.
It's a challenge. It requires courage. It requires. I just did my presentation yesterday, the healing paradox. It requires healing, and healing can be so daunting for people because healing uniquely requires you to walk back through the pain. A lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, and a lot of times the painful situation is done.
Right.
It's over. It's not still happening, right? But it's still incredibly painful to walk back through it, and that's why I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I don't think anybody should walk back through their pain alone.
Right.
There's people out there to support you, people like me, but it's really, really important because that a lot of times that is at play and it's in front of us and it's invisible and it's stopping us, and we have to move it out of the way for us to fully move forward. But if we're not prepared to walk up to it and confront it, then we can't move it out of the way.
Right.
And so we just end up playing small and trying not to get hurt.
Right.
And trying to protect ourselves.
And that's the thing, because I think a lot of times we think of these huge moments that are considered, that break us down, right? That we lose a piece of ourselves and a piece of our essence and truth. But it's all those little moments over time.
Over time.
And that's really, like you said, starting at we can talk, or that we can actually start to move about, is that we are trying to be out, to be expressive, and life is telling us no. It's bringing us back to these boxes, to bringing us back to these confines.
Society is. Society is. And the interesting part about that is that we make up society. So we don't have to have that. But it's perpetuated over generation to generation that we're taught how to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're taught how to be.
Yeah, like what's a good child?
Exactly.
These models.
This is what girls do. This is what boys do. This is, and it starts really, really young. I mean, my daughter's going to be 6 in January, and from 4 years old, she was like, this is boys and these are girls, and so what does that mean for, her future transgender friend? She's going to have to process that somehow, because our society is not set up in a way that honors that from very young, so we spend so much of our time just getting cut down little by little. Little by little. It's very gradual. Because if it was sudden, if somebody was like to walk up to you and suddenly hack off your arm, you'd be like, oh my God, you just hacked off my arm, right? But, if somebody just walked up to you and like,
slowly.
You'd probably still be upset, but it would just be a scratch. But a scratch on top of another scratch, on top of another scratch. Eventually you're all scratched off and there's not a whole lot left.
And, when we think about this, I think it's really interesting because, yes, it puts ourselves in boxes, but I think a lot of people, and even, I can speak for myself, I've been in a space where, we have these visions and we have these dreams, right? But a lot of times it doesn't fit in the box of what life has told us we should be doing, right? And so then we're operating from a place of, we feel stifled, we feel contracted, and I always say, obviously we're spiritual beings, having a human experience, and spirit can't be confined. And we suffer so much is because we're trying to put it in a box. We're trying to make it look like something, right, that it is not intended to look like.
And frankly, you can't be anybody but who you are, right? So there's only one Michelle Blue, for example. There's only one Bless Roxwell, right? So I have to be authentic to who that is. And then the irony, or rather the paradox, is that when you cut off these little pieces, we're smaller, but the pieces that, it's so crazy how this happens. The pieces that we cut off are usually the pieces that we need the most. Those are the pieces where our strength lies. Those are the pieces where, the parts of our personality, our shadows, all of those things, they're all meant to inform us as whole beings, but we're taught that that's not okay.
Right.
That's not okay. If you're a whole being, you're too big for this space.
And that's the thing. It's like you said, we start shrinking.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because other, sometimes people or situations can't handle the bigness that is over our lives.
Exactly.
And so
they can't handle it.
conflicts.
They can't handle it because they've shrunk, because they've been living small. And so when you come to someone who, for whatever their personal reasons are, is living in a small space, and you present this big, expensive,
well, you have these great ideas,
right?
And you want to do that.
They're like,
take on these new
this
adventures.
is scary. No, I don't know. No, they don't. They will shut you down. They will try to trim you back down.
Right.
And it's not to hurt you. It's not to harm you. It's actually, it comes from a need to feel safe. And so in order for that person to feel safe, you need to be small, because if you are too big, they will get scared and they can't handle it, so they want to keep you small.
Yeah.
And
a lot of times it's not even, because sometimes it's the people closest to us, and it's not because they don't love us.
Not at all.
It's just that they are trying to protect us, because going big is uncomfortable.
Yep. And scary.
And scary.
Yep.
And there is so a lot of times they're trying to protect you from the thing that you're called to do.
Out of love.
Out of love.
Out of love.
Out of love. And so again, that's something that again was passed down, but they're just giving you security based off of what they know, right?
And that's part of why I do the work I do, because when you are, like, when you've been living your life in this box for so long, your family and friends are used to that, and that's what makes them feel safe. And I come along and I say, well, no, but you know, let's blow out the box, right? Like, who needs a box? We don't need a box, right?
Ain't no box.
Ain't no box. And then the person will start to lean into that, and they will actually get the pushback from their circle, right? Because the circle is not in the coaching, right? Only this person is. So the circle is only seeing the results of this person, like really stepping into their power. And my job is to hold that space for people,
right?
You know, while they do that, like, it's a process. And what can happen is when you don't have affirmation around you, it's let me rephrase, it's really important,
right,
to have someone around you that is able to affirm this new desire that you have to step outside of that box, to blow out that box. Because friends and family, out of the purest of love, you know, it's like love with a dash of negativity to help you, you know what I mean? Right? And so it's I never condemn families, parents, anything like that, because we only are able to see our path, like, to a point.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't see past that. And if the parents or the partner, spouse, or whoever it is that you're living with has not done their own internal work to get past that, and you pop up wanting to get past that, you're going to meet some resistance and some pushback. Just only out of fear and love.
Right.
That's really it.
I mean, and there's always going to be resistance, whether it's internal resistance, right? Like the fear that we all have, the fear that I have, you know, as well as the external resistance that we'll all meet. But the thing about it is we have these dreams and desires for a reason.
Absolutely.
And it's really not our control. You know, this is placed in us. This is given. This is your gift that was given to you. And yes, even in that resistance, it is a little, there's a little difficulty, but I know there's no peace in not bringing that dream and not bringing that vision out.
Not at all. And my guess is that the resistance serves a purpose, because I believe all things serve a purpose, right? So the resistance, human beings don't do well when things are easily given to us. Okay? That's just how humans work. I'm not here to speculate as to why, you know what I mean? But when things are too easily attained, we don't appreciate them. We don't treat them well. We just, So my guess is that resistance is to make us really want it, appreciate it when we finally achieve it and have it, right? And it was a research study that found that there is actually a difference between not being sick and being well. That those are two different things, right? Most people are walking around just not being sick.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to work every day, showing up, doing what you got to do, getting your check, right?
Going through the motions.
That's called languishing, right? Flourishing is what?
Different.
That's something different.
And
that's well-being.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's what's available to us.
All the time.
And I actually get so emotional about this, right? Because it is available to us. And there's this, I've heard this saying before, it's like, we're all given a song. And it's like, don't die with that song still in you, but that music's still in you. When that song is meant to shift, to change lives, to create something so much more beautiful.
Absolutely.
Like, we are not just creation, we are creators.
We're made in the image of our Creator,
right.
Which means that we are creators
right.
as well, And personal to my own story is I'm a very, very emotional person, right? I swim in emotion. And I can breathe while I'm underwater with them, right? Like, I'm just that person. But I wasn't raised in an environment where that was honored, promoted, affirmed as a good thing, okay? Now, all these years later, I've finally been like, no, this is me. This is who I am. I'm an emotional being, more so than the average person. I'm a highly sensitive person, which means my brain is hardwired differently, and I'm borderline empath. I don't like to claim that, right? Because it's not really like that for me. It's more intuitive. But all of these things I've claimed as aspects of myself much later in life, and my life has gotten exponentially easier. Because every day I wake up and I feel like I'm actually living my life.
Right.
And that embracing those sides of myself, those were the sides that for me personally I had trimmed off. Right? Calling them back enables me to be such an effective counselor, such an effective coach. Like, I can go there with you. I can go deep with you. I know what you're feeling, and I can also tell you it's okay. And that has informed my work on a level that I can't even explain. And if I was still sitting here trying to keep those pieces off of me, I don't know where I would be, because I felt like I was dying. I felt like I couldn't breathe.
And we are the walking dead.
Yep.
Because like you said, yes, you're not ill, but you're not well. And you know that. You know that there's something there. You know that there's something more.
Everybody knows. They be knowing.
You be knowing.
You be knowing. Like, people know. And it's we do all kinds of things to try to forget. We'll drink, we'll smoke, we'll shop, we'll do whatever. We'll have that 6-figure high-paying job and pretend we love it. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, we're lonely. We're scared. Searching, And my thing is that I would love, my dream for everyone is that everybody knows that they are okay. Just the way you are. Like, just all those little quirky things that you hide from everybody, don't hide them. You might save a life. Like, you might put that out there on your Instagram or your Facebook and be like, oh my God, I know this is totally quirky and I would never tell anybody, but I decided to tell somebody today. And you might save that 14-year-old girl or boy that's in Kansas that has no one around them and has that same quirk and thinks that they're the only one in the world. You know what I mean? So when we embrace those sides of ourselves that we cut off as we grow up, that we fragment, it's so healing. Right. And it's not just healing for us. It's healing for everyone around us. And that is my secret mission, right? That's my secret mission, is that I want a ripple effect of love around the world, because that is how we save the world. You can talk till you are blue in the face, okay? The energy that you give out, you get back what you put out, right? The energy that you give out, the vibe you give out, the way you move through the world is actually what is talking to people. That's actually what's communicating. So if you move through this world with love of yourself for who you actually are,
right,
that's such a powerful energetic signature to send out. I mean, it is just, it's like a tsunami of energy that goes out from people, and it's like the response. People respond to it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It feels so good.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
And it's so great when we think about leaning into our imperfections and knowing that they're perfect.
Absolutely.
Because, again, if we have these dreams, if we have these visions, if it's given to you, then you also will have a provision for it to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, yes, the fear is there, and like, we don't always know how it's going to happen. We don't know how the money's going to come, how the resources are going to line up, we don't know. I don't know how this thing is going to turn out. It's not meant for me to figure out all of the pieces of the how.
Nope.
It's just for me to take the steps. And take the steps when I'm scared. Take the steps when I don't have the money. Take the steps when I'm still learning. And trust and know that, again, it was given to you. And you will be supported in this. Things will start to come around you and create a way that you wouldn't, like, that will blow your mind.
Miraculous to watch. It is miraculous to watch. When I do my expansion coaching with people, I teach them about the importance, oh my gosh, the importance of your energetic signature and your energetic commitment.
Right.
Okay? Because that is the messaging that you're sending out. Okay? And when you're wavering in that messaging, you're going to get all kinds of things coming back to you. But if you are clear in that messaging, then the divine and the universe is like, oh, she ready?
Right.
We're going to send it right out because she ready. She's clear. She knows.
She knows what she wants.
She knows. She is clear.
Yeah.
We can give it to her now. Whereas I use this analogy a lot with clients. When you think you know you want something, right? You go to a restaurant, you're looking at the menu. You're like, I think I want some nachos today. You say, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this. And then you call the waiter or the server over, and you're like, this is what I want. And they go off with your order to the kitchen. But before they can get there, you say, wait a minute. That's not actually what I want.
Let me switch it up.
I want to switch it. Come back. I want to order something else. Okay, so the server comes back. I want this. This is actually what I want. Server walks away with your order. They're going to go get you your order. Wait, no, actually, that's not what I want. So what happens?
Right.
You're never gonna get what you want because your order never actually gets there. You know what I mean? Because you keep changing your mind because you're not clear.
Right.
The universe only knows how to say yes. It only knows how to give you what you want. That's your birthright. Okay? But you have to be so clear about what you want. If you want $1 billion, but you think all rich people are evil, guess who's not going to have $1 billion if you don't think you're an evil person?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to be so clear to put that order in. And I'm telling you, the divine, your ancestors, it's so much waiting. Just waiting to support you. It is miraculous. Every time I see it, it blows my mind. Every time I have clients come and tell me about some situation that happened for them. I had a client call me a couple weeks ago. I was like, are you okay? Because she called me out of the blue and she was calling to tell me about something miraculous that had happened that aligned with one of her goals that we had set when we were working together.
Right.
It's so powerful.
And so, the thing that I always say is up for us to figure out the what and let God figure out the how.
The how.
And the thing is, when I think about that, because we all want to be in control.
I laugh. I try.
Right? But we all want to be in control. But when we just figure out, have the clarity on what we want and take the steps, the how will be so much greater than we could ever imagine. Right? Like, we work on a very limited, small view that was actually here and available to us. And so, all of this is transformation.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we all have this gift. We all have this spirit that is waiting to break free. That needs to be expanded.
Break it free.
And we hold it, right? We hold it in these very contracted spaces. And that's where we're hurting.
Absolutely.
That's where we are living those meaningless lives, like when we're just going through the motions. And so, yes, it does take some work. And
absolutely,
we have done a lot of the work together.
We have.
Which is what I love, is that we've been able to do this work. But what are those maybe first 3 steps that it takes to do that unlearning, right? For us to step into expansion, for us to step into the abundance and the possibilities that are available for us,
right? And
to no longer tell ourselves, playing small, this lesser version of ourselves, like, no.
So the first 3 steps. So the first step, I would say, is to decide. And I have a saying, simple and easy are not the same thing.
They're not.
Okay, so it really is as simple as deciding. Don't make it easy, but you need to decide. Okay, the divine, the universe, whatever you choose to call it, that we serve, rewards decision, decisive action. Okay, so that's the first thing I would say, is to decide that this you're not going to play small anymore. Right? The second thing that I would say, and I went through this kind of yesterday with the Healing Paradox workshop, is find a therapist. And I mean that sincerely. Because you're going to need to clear some things out. All right? There's things there. It's okay that there are things there.
Right.
Most of us are adults. Most of us have been on this planet for 20 plus years. That means 20 plus years of experiences. Some have been good, some have been wonderful, glorious, some have been really painful and traumatic. So if you're going to clear yourself out, go to therapy. Okay? I don't care if it's BetterHelp, talk space, somebody in person, whatever it is, you're going to need that support. And don't expect your friends to give it to you, because your friends have their own lives and their own things that they're dealing with. A therapist is someone who is dedicated to that for you. Okay? So decisiveness and therapy.
Or clearing space. Clear your space. And if you need the support of a therapist.
Yes.
Or there's other practices you can use as well.
There's other practices. As a coach, I definitely advise people to do them conjointly. Okay? Because things come up. And sometimes things come up that you forgot was there.
You
know what I mean? Right. Sometimes things come up that have been very, very deeply repressed, and that's why it's impacting you moving forward. And so I would say, yes, be prepared. Let me say it that way. Be prepared and be open to therapy.
To make room.
If you need it. To make room. Right. And then the last thing that I would say is, this is a tough one, because this one goes really deep and is tied up with the ego. But be prepared to be extremely honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you won't get very far.
But honest about what?
Honest about where you are in your life. So if you're feeling like there's more, but you already have this really, really good job, and you're not able to be honest with yourself about why you have that really good job and you're reluctant to leave it, then you won't get very far with leaning into that more, right? Because there's a part of you that's okay with the less.
And that's the thing. We sign up for the less.
Because it's safer. I want to make sure I say this. And this is something a really powerful, very wise woman told me. That there is no such thing as the absence of fear. Fear is a survival mechanism. What is required is courage in the face of fear. Right? That's what you're being asked. That's what the difference and the game changer is. Because courage allows you to meet the circumstance, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be scared. Playing big is terrifying. Oh my gosh, and it's okay. Play big. I want to just alleviate anyone's concerns right now. Playing big is really scary. Okay?
We are not selling false.
No, ain't nobody trying to sell you no pipe dreams right now. Playing big is really, really scary. And so it's okay to be scared, right? But don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you. Be courageous enough to be honest with yourself about where you are, right? So like take someone who's an alcoholic, for example. One of the things about alcoholics is said that they have to hit rock bottom. If they're not honest with themselves about their rock bottom and what that looks like, they're never going to hit it. You know what I mean? So like you have to be honest with yourself. If you have been through relationship after broken relationship after broken relationship after broken relationship, and you're still calling your ex-girlfriends crazy, then you're not being honest with yourself, because there's a pattern here. You know what I mean? So it's extremely important in any level of self-development, no matter what it is, whether it's coaching, even if it's therapy, like you get in what you put out. You get out what you put in. You know what I mean? So like you have to really be incredibly honest with yourself. And that's what I was saying about the ego is sneaky. Because the ego will tell you you're fine.
And that's what I always say, right? Because I'm like, I always ask, what's the one thing that keeps people from getting the life that they want? And people say, it's money, it's a job, it's an opportunity, it's not having contact. That's not it.
All roads lead back to the self, so it can't be nothing outside of you.
I say the main reason we don't get the things we want in this life is because of good. We settle for good, that good job, that good money, right? We settle for good when greatness is actually available for us.
Yep. But there's parts of you that have to die in order to get there. And the ego sees that. Ego death is the number one thing that it will try to avoid. It thinks it's going to die.
Right. And so it's trying to live. It's trying to protect.
It's trying to protect. And that's why I say don't kill the ego. The ego is not here to be killed. It's here to be balanced. Because the ego is what makes us want nice things. It makes us want that good job. It makes us want to be treated with respect, with kindness, right? So we're not killing the ego. But you need to balance the ego, because your ego will also tell you when you're, in a job that you're miserable going to every day, right? And you're making $30,000 less than you could be making. Your ego will tell you, as soon as you start to say, I can't take this anymore, your ego will be like, no, we're good. Yeah, the ego is just, it'll tell you that you're fine, that you don't need more, that you don't, we don't need that, we don't want to go get that, it keeps you from going deep. Because when you go deep into the whys, that's where you get the pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because usually the pain and the hurt are there because someone hurt us. Someone or something. In order for someone or something to hurt us, enough for us to carry it with us forward in life, that person has to be really, really good. So if someone or something that is that important in your world hurt you, then I completely understand why you wouldn't want to examine it. But you need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need to, because that could be what's keeping you from great.
And, that's why I wanted to have this conversation, Bless, because regardless of what stage you're at, there's still something else, right? There's still more, right? And again, yes, I think we're all playing at a lesser version of ourselves, but we don't have to. And I know this is what the work that we're calling to do, is to hold people high and to say now is the time, not tomorrow, not 2 weeks, not 2 years. We're not delaying these goals and these dreams anymore. It is the now that's all we have.
Literally.
It's literally all we have. And so it's the choice that we all have to make.
Yeah.
Are we going to contract?
Or expand.
Or are we going to expand?
I'm so glad you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure you're following along with the Journey with Blue. I don't want you to miss out, so like and subscribe below to get more transformational conversations. Follow me on Instagram at @TheMichelleBlue and head over to thejourneywithblue.com where I'm giving you my free Taking the Leap ebook when you sign up for my Blues Clues email newsletter. I look forward to supporting you in creating the life and business of your dreams. You're never alone in the journey. Until next time, Blue.